No, now we are starting with the blue button, eh?
Yes, let me
invite them so that they are able to join us. The blue button is very versatile, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad that they fixed it. I think it was because of overload, and
yes.
the university is working hard to ensure that technology is on the top notch.
Yes.
So as you get the others, I want to invite everybody else to thank them, the students who are here. I see we are 4 of you, Mbuthia, Nelly, Shadrach, Rostondo, and others will be joining. There'll be a little bit noise in the background, I want to say, but I hope if it gets too much, I can ask them to stop. We're trying to ensure that we reduce that noise. So if it is too much, I think we can control it if need be. But you let me know. Are we okay? Are we okay? Mbuthia, Amos? Karibu Mbuthia. Chris Mulogosi, hi, how are you? And I see we are 5 of us. We're still waiting for the others. Meanwhile, as we talk about this today, yes, Chris, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Chris Mulogosi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Karibu to this course, this session,
Sunday.
This is session 9.
Yes.
It is diversification strategies. Very interesting topic.
Yes.
And I hope we'll enjoy it as we go along. It's very interesting doing studies by blended learning, which is exciting, I believe. And this is the world. The world is going to blended learning, open learning, online learning. And your university, ZTech University, is the forefront in technology in this country, not only in this country, but even beyond, to ensure that we deliver learning using all modes available to ensure that our students, who are our clients, get the skills and the knowledge to be able to prepare them not only for the work world, but prepare them for life. Your courses should be able to prepare you for life, not only for the degree, the certificate you get at the end of the course, but for life, because you are actually reinventing yourselves to be able to be those employees, those managers, those entrepreneurs that run your own enterprises and employ hundreds and thousands of other colleagues like yourselves. So with that, unless there is any burning issue, I want to welcome you once again and start this session officially, formally. Before us is a picture, as you can see there. I like pictures for the day or of the day. And this picture of the day, what do we see? I want to ask comments from those who are seeing that picture. I see 13 of you, Richard Ireri, Josephine Maina, Kubai Kelvin, Lemayan Meingati. Yeah, Lemayan, you are this cause and the other cause, eh? Lemayan, how are you? Lemayan, how are you? Okay, of course, there's Mbuthia, there's Ndegwa, Fidelis. Karibuni sana, this course. Now, what do we see here in this picture here? Picture for the day, anybody. What does this picture represent? Yeah? Thank you, Lemayan. A pie chart. Really, thank you. It's a pie chart. But what else do we see in the pie chart? You allow Malimo a little bit to see his tea. It's just come from another class, eh? It's a pie chart. Yes. What is that pie chart? What do we see in the pie chart? The very faith, yeah. What do we see in that pie chart? Yeah, a man taking a quarter of the pie. Oh, is that a quarter really, my friend? The nail is in here. Is it a quarter really? Yeah. Different colors, yes. Pie chart containing certain statistics, yes. Whole pie chart being divided into sections with the different colors, yes. Pie chart with sections of various colors. Yes, Shadrach. Yeah, you are there from the beginning. Right. So we see a pie chart here. I want to look at this pie chart from the perspective of diversification. If you look at that pie chart, a hand, of course, can see that there's Kubai, a hand, yeah. A hand picking a slice. What fraction is that slice, if we may want to estimate? What's that slice? What's the percentage is it? The man is taking a slice or fixing the slice. Yeah? Is he fixing or taking? Whichever it is. What percentage is it? If we look at those sections with different colors, what colors do we see? Just list those colors. You list the colors. List all of them. Let's see. Just as we reflect on this pie chart. All of us agree it's a pie chart, but reflect on it. Let's see. What colors do we see here? That color. That color. That color. That color. Is that a color in it? And this color here. Yellow, red, white, green, and blue. Yes. Blue, orange. What means this? Orange. Yeah. Bhutia, you missed orange, yeah? Yeah. Red, white, green, yellow, and yellow, orange, yellow. Okay. Blue. You can see some of you are blind color, eh? They see orange as yellow. Which is which now? Is it orange or is it yellow? I see a number of you have said yellow. I see another one saying orange. The only one who said orange. And the one who said what? Yellow. Most of you are talking of yellow. Right. Thank you for those colors. Now, assuming that this is a business, it was one pie. And if it is a business, these sectors here represent subsidiaries, represent products. They can represent anything. Subsidiaries, that's a green subsidiary, if it's or branches, Nyeri branch, Meru branch, Machakos branch, Isiolo branch. That one could be Marsabit branch. Or could represent products that a company is handling. Possibility products is handling. Either type of products or geographical or whatever you call it. So I use this as a way of saying, in a business, you can sell either one product, which is a pie, or you can diversify into different type of products. Means. Now, today's topic, we are looking at diversification. And I want to look at this wise saying by Larry Bossidy. Larry Bossidy quotation says, execution is the ability to mesh strategy with reality, align people with goals, and achieve the promised results. Larry Bossidy's execution is the ability to mesh strategy. So as we talk about strategic management, we look at diversification strategies. Is really trying to align people with goals. The pie was showing us different colors. The different colors representing different strategies. We may use that. Or different people coming in together. You have to align them in order to reach your goals. So that's what it means in strategy diversification. Now, what is the menu for this class, ladies and gentlemen? Our menu in this class is to look at the following. By the end of this session, which is session 9, we expect us to learn to evaluate the nature and role of diversification. What is the nature and role of diversification? We analyze and compare the various key types, forms of diversification. So one is evaluate the nature. What is diversification? What is it in our thinking? What are the characteristics of diversification? What is it, by the way, when you talk of diversify? Today, during COVID-19, you'll find that businesses have had to learn to diversify. And this is a fact. You cannot deny that businesses are diversifying. Why are they doing that? They are looking at, as we'll see shortly, what it means to move to another level with the challenges that are there. So the various types of diversification: horizontal, vertical, concentric, and conglomerate diversification. That's where we are going, ladies and gentlemen. And as we move, in our introduction, we want to learn about what diversification is. As a recap, diversification is a strategy. Diversification is a strategy that an organization adopts for the development of its business. Basically, it's for the development of their business. They want to grow their business and to develop. And they have to find a way, a strategy to grow that. And the diversification is one of those. This strategy involves widening the scope of the organization across different products and market sectors. Yeah, widening the scope of the organization across different products and market sectors. If you may take that pie we saw at the beginning, the picture for the day, to mean different products, yes, those are different products. You can say they're different products. The yellow, the green, the orange, you know, the white, the red. These are different products, and they occupy specific percentage in the whole total production of an organization. Or it could be market sectors. You remember I said it could be representing different branches. It started with Nyeri, Meru, Isiolo, Machakos. Those could be different geographical market areas. Some are larger than others, of course. So strategy involves widening scope. So diversification means widen that scope. Diversification strategy is one of the 4 main strategies for growth identified by Igor Ansoff in 1957. It's one of the 4 main strategies of growth. I've just finished a class on entrepreneurship and we're talking about business growth. And we talked about growth in terms of how businesses grow. So in the same way, diversification as a strategy touches on how business can expand its markets. Companies to look at markets they could tap into or new products they could launch to increase their reach and revenue. That is very interesting. Don't forget the name Igor Ansoff. He's one of the gurus or the great thinkers in this field of learning. Then by adopting this strategy, the organization or the company not only diversifies its product offering in the target markets, but also expands its business horizons. If we use the university, which is an area I've spent over 45 years in education, put that way, you realize the universities today are offering a wide range of products or services. First of all, the core business is to teach and do research. And when they teach, what are they doing? What is happening is that we have different disciplines. We have, for example, business. This Malim is talking from the School of Business and Economics. Then we get products within the business school. We have different specializations. We have BBAF, Bachelor of Accounting and Finance. We have a Bachelor of Commerce. We have BBAM, our flagship program that we started with, Bachelor of Administration and Management. We have others at BPSM. We have other programs. At degree level, we also have a diploma and we have a certificate. So you can see that the university within the School of Business alone has diversified. When you look at now outside the School of Business, we have media, journalism. On one hand, we also have hospitality. We have IT and engineering. And we have the new kid on the block called Education and Social Studies. You see what I mean? So in this case, there's diversification already in the university. Your own university, CTech University. What about other universities? The bigger universities that boast of over 50,000 students have different approaches. So in brief, what we're saying about diversification is really look at the market and looking at what can you offer. We talked about new products and we talked about also new markets. You know, the pie there could represent both. The colors represent the market or the products. And that's what it means when we talk about diversification. I want to get in the nitty-gritty of diversification as we go along. Now, as we go diversification, a preamble of diversification. I want to look at this diversification as a preamble. What do we mean by diversification? Sorry for this. Diversification is a form of growth strategy. Growth strategy involves significant increase in performance, usually sales of the market and beyond. Many organizations pursue one of the more types of growth strategies. Growth in sales is often used as a measure of performance. Even if profit remains stable or decline, an increase in sales satisfies people. Many people. The assumption is often made that if sales are high, then profits will definitely be high. So as we look at what diversification is, we should bear in mind that diversification, what it does is expands our market and our product line for profitability, basically. Sorry for this, I need to do this and that, yeah. Growth strategy involves significant increased performance, Organization pursue one type or the other of strategies. It is sales, increase in sales, and often used as a measure of performance. Even if profits remain stable and so on, sales could still follow eventually, as we're saying. When we talk about diversification, we ask ourselves the question, why would companies diversify? Maybe that's a question I want to pose. Let me get back there and pose that question here. Why, in your opinion, would the companies want to diversify? What, in your opinion, would the companies want to diversify or want to use this approach as a growth strategy? Why, in your opinion, would companies want to diversify? Give us some questions, send us some responses. Why do you think they want to do? Of course, one of them is profit, yeah. But besides profit, is there any other reason why they want to diversify? Besides profit, yeah. Jacqueline Amoke. Diversification allows for more variety and options for product services. If done correct, diversification provides a tremendous boost to brand image and company profitability. Diversification can be used as a defense, but diversification product or service as a company can protect itself from competing companies. Yes, it can do that. Diversification in this case is really variety, but besides that, competitive advantage. Yes, thank you, Kubai. It's for competitive advantage, because if you have more products, what does it mean? You can easily be able to beat the competitors. Good examples here are when you go to the supermarkets. That when you go to a supermarket and a small shop will only offer you bread, maybe 2-3 varieties. A supermarket may give you 10 varieties of bread and other confectionaries. So again, it's diversified, although size comes in here, but they have diversified. Could be the same size, but that has diversified makes customers feel okay. The malls, for example, a mall. When you look at the big shopping center called a mall brings together all other businesses, financial institutions, eateries, textiles, apparels, domestic appliances, name it. In a mall, you can get that. But if you just go out there in the various shops, you know, the inconvenience of moving from one shop to another. But here, it's all is under one roof. It's the American approach. Yeah. Big malls to occupy acres, tens of acres, where you come in, you drive, you park your car, it's safe, and you can spend the whole day in the mall, even the whole day, the whole night in the mall, because I'm at 24/7. So again, the shopping that has come today in this country. We didn't have shopping malls, by the way, in the early 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe a little bit of 90s. There were no malls, none. There were only supermarkets we knew. Actually, up to 90s, there are no malls. But today, a mall is a place, a place where you can get everything you need. Most malls. Okay, they have diversified the way of retailing, basically. So the reasons, I see reasons they're coming to help in boosting a company image. The company diversify to avoid repercussions when industry, yes, diversify so that you are able to not one egg in one basket, as they say. Helps in keeping the capital safe. When they diversify to avoid major repercussions, keep the capital safe, and many others. There are many reasons why we diversify. But one of the reasons here is to, you may say, is to hedge against uncertainties. To hedge against uncertainties. That's one of them. Helps in capital save and so on and so forth. Because if there's uncertainties in one product, you have diversified with the other. All right. Why do companies diversify? There are reasons here. Summarize. Some of them are what you have there. Companies diversify to achieve greater profitability. Companies also allow to minimize risk of industry downturn. Yes. It can also be used as a defense mechanism to protect company from strong competition. Yes. Strong competition, if you are only selling a few products, can bring you down. But if you have other products the competitors don't have, you still run your business anyway. It's like a big shop. When people come in, if they miss what they want, they can still buy something else that they need it. So diversification gives you opportunity to market, to reach out the customers. Many business owners resort to diversification in order to secure their financial assets. Yes, financial assets are there. Create more appeal among its current and potential customers. Yes. If they know I can get everything to increase the amount of sales, logos, thank you. By doing so, profit also goes up. For profit maximization, booth, thank you. First task, company diversify, major repercussions. Okay. So create appeal among its current and potential customers. If potential customers see that when I go to this business, it is a one-stop shop. You have heard of the term one-stop shop. So one-stop shop is possible. And diversification means exactly that, one-stop shop. Today, when you look at supermarkets, good, interesting example of supermarkets. We have been watching over them for the last few months, years. You can see what has been happening in supermarkets. What kind of diversification have supermarkets done, for example? We'll come to that question. But when you go to supermarket, a simple one is like if you go to Tuskegee. Tuskegee, what they have done is they also have, they bake bread. They're in the bakery business. They have also gone further to fast foods. You can buy food there. As you shop, after you are shopping, you can carry home ready-made food. You will just go and eat. They warm it for you there if the distance where you're going is not far. You just go home, lay your table, and eat your lunch or your meal. They have diversified into really not only selling products. What we used to hear that from an elephant, from a pin to an elephant, supermarkets, from a pin to an elephant. Time when we were in school ourselves, those years, when I did commerce in the secondary school. I was doing commerce as one of the subjects. And I even taught it in high school. We were talking of a supermarket which never existed. We were talking of 70s. They were not there. And they said a supermarket is a place where you get from a pin to an elephant. Interesting. That means you can get everything under the one roof. So here, they have diversified. Tuskegee has gone into food, making, baking, and also selling food. They sell cooked foods. Whether the license allows it or not, that's another matter. But supermarkets have gone, most of the supermarkets have gone into this. So you can see what's interesting. Anyway, seeing that diversity, what type it is. So that we can allow company to minimize risks, create more appeal to among its clients. Yeah, when I go to the supermarket, when I go to this mall, I get everything I need. I get bread, I get airtime there, I get my household goods I require, everything, including water. I get all that. So you see, some have ATM machines, automated machines for milk, where you don't have to buy milk anymore in the packets if you have a choice. Either you do that or come with a bottle. The machines have gone into this. Yeah, retailing milk. They get directly in bulk and they retail this out in terms of measuring and bottles. Jacqueline Marlowe, you want to say something, Jacqueline? Hello, Jacqueline. Okay. So what we're saying here is you can see what businesses have done. They have diversified. And the reasons are here. They want to diversify in order to secure their markets, in order to ensure that they are relevant. That's what I was saying about bakeries. You know, it's hardly you get standalone bakeries unless they are gourmet bakeries, specialized bakeries. Otherwise, they don't stand alone now. Supermarkets have already taken the business because a person who's buying groceries will end up with buying bread, and they don't want to buy bread from. I mean, tendency is that you buy bread, in-house bread, because you assume the bread made there is actually home bread that can be better than the ones that have been shuttled across the country, made in elsewhere and market elsewhere. So you can buy directly. All sorts of foods are there. Right. So as we go along, I don't want people to salivate about bread and so on and so forth. When you talk of diversification, what are the advantages of diversification? I gave the reasons here. I asked the question which I posted here earlier. Given the responses you got, profit maximization due to diversification products and so on. But let's see the advantages of diversification. What does it mean? It could also talk about this come from the roles of diversification. What do they mean? As the economy changes, the spending patterns of people change also. It's true. Diversification into a number of industries or a product line can help create a balance of the entity during these ups and downs. The advantage is that when the economy is not stable, diversification helps because of the different products. If you are dealing with manufactured goods only, you can easily close shop because under COVID-19, unless you get a source of those materials. But if you're dealing with groceries, locally grown foodstuffs, and so on, you'll continue to be in business. So you have diversified into this. That's why you see supermarkets have the green section. They have the dry goods. They have the bakery. They have all these departments, and you may say diversify in terms of their products and their line of products and so on. So diversification does that. Diversification helps to maximize the use of potentially underutilized resources. Yes, underutilized resources. You may have equipment that's not working or has not been used because there's no demand for it. If you get a use for it, it's very beautiful. There's a lot of unutilized, by the way, potential. Not only with the businesses, but even individuals like yourself. You have a potential, a real potential. You're full of potential, but it's underutilized. A challenge is it's underutilized. What do you mean, Malimo, underutilized potential? Yes. You ask yourself, how do you spend 24 hours? Honestly and brutally, write down. How do you spend your 24 hours? What time do you wake up? What do you do? Up to lunch hour, up to evening. What do you do? And then when you wonder, what time do you sleep? What time do you wake up? You'll find that the time you spend here, compared to a student like yourself in the Western world, I had experience in America and Europe. Yeah, student like yourselves, at your age level, you'll be doing many things. A counterpart in another culture, you'll be doing a lot of things. You'd have acquired a lot of skills, either learn acrobatics, learn dance, or whatever else you can use as a hobby, as well as new skills you learn to use. So your capacity is there. Yeah, you could take on another course, short course, baking, or a course on something else, coaching. Besides your degree program you are going, you'll be doing other acquiring skills for life. Malim has said it. Use time you have now, like you're at home. Most of you are away from the university. What are you doing? If you have opportunity to be in the rural area, what do you do in the rural area? I just sit there saying, okay, these parents or folk are growing this stuff and so on. What do you do to yourself? Don't tell me you spend time 24/7 watching and going to school like we are in school now. There's time you can spare and use the opportunities available. Diversify yourself. Yes, is that Josephine Maina? How are you with the junior one? Or is that Jacqueline Malo? Jacqueline, you want to say something? We talk diversification and we talk about unutilized potential. So businesses have the same thing. They have capacity, unutilized. Like right now, you may pause a minute. The schools, especially private schools, because these are run by entrepreneurs, during the time of COVID like this, what are they doing with the capacity? Of course, the question of distancing, the question of sanitizing, the question of, the protocol. But can those schools be used? Like now, they are closed up to January. When, especially primary, the basic education, up to January. What do? You have workers to pay, your bills to meet, and the income is from student fees. What do you do with the capacity? Of course, you say, well, businesses are less here, but can you think about using that capacity? Maybe grounds for, I see people doing a lot of physical exercises and so on. You can convert to something else. What we're saying is capacity. Yeah? So diversification helps to maximize the use of that capacity. There will always be an unpleasant surprise within a single investment. Being diversified can help in balancing such surprises. If it's one product, for example, and you are importing raw materials from China, like I know of a young man who was importing stuff from China to make USBs, cables, and so on, USBs. And when China market closed, what happened? His business came to a standstill up to now. He's just trying to survive, to revive it. What does that mean? He's relying on a single investment, single product. But had he diversified into locally available products and raw materials, he would be now in business as the economy opens up a little window. He's doing that. There are many people doing that. Others are actually have turned into micro entrepreneurs. They have turned boots of their cars to be moving grocery shop. Along the highway, you'll find that there are vehicles parked places, and people there are actually the owners selling products from the boots of their cars. Fruits, pineapple, name it, fruits, vegetables, they have done that. I see this in my local shopping center where I go buy a few things. That I see now strange people who are office workers, they have now converted themselves into micro entrepreneurs. They are using the capacity available. Anyway, that's under COVID-19. But we are saying diversification means you can use the potential. And you can say they have diversified. Many of them are office workers, managers, and senior supervisors. But what they have done is they've decided to roll up their sleeves, wear their boots, go to the farmers, buy products, bring them, turn their cars into moving kiosks to sell these products. Diversify the capacity they have. So diversification means that, of course, under normal circumstances, there will always be unpleasant surprises with one single product. That means you need many. Certain industries may fall down for a specific time frame, and so. So the whole idea here is that you are not keeping your eggs in one basket. You are looking at opportunities that are untapped in order to make use of them using current resources or assets that you have. You may expand a little bit, but using the current assets that you have, what can you do? The school I gave you as an example, private schools, especially in urban areas. Rural areas slightly different, the ballgame, but urban areas, the schools in urban areas, they're closed. Are there opportunities with this partial opening of the economy that they can use? Kids may not come back until January, but what do? Diversify. Instead of offering the usual primary curricula, secondary curricula, you can diversify into doing other things. And the people want to learn some skills, maybe baking, maybe management, brief management talks and trainings, and others you can do in terms of using that capacity. Of course, I wanted to say wedding grounds and so on. Some are using them for wedding grounds and so on. Although distancing is key here because of the protocol government gave about containing this disease. So there are potentially underutilized resources. And these underutilized resources could be human resource, equipment, and space. Human resource, equipment, and space. And resources are utilized. And you can diversify by using that potential, that resource. There is always that person, okay, contained certain industries may fall down and others may rise. Yeah, in the forefront. Right. Disadvantages. Of course, diversification is all you may say it's not all what? It's not all rosy. There could be other things. Malim wants to stand a little bit as he talks. Yeah. So, as we talk about diversification, there are disadvantages that organizations, companies can be able to mitigate through diversification. Some of these diversification include, an entity will lose out due to limited investment. You look at the investment, you got at the resources you have, and with limited investment, you can find yourself really spreading yourself too thin. If you require more resources, if you have to expand, for example, production into a new area, you need resources. An example I've given in another class is about this factory, tea factory. Let's call it Kipchabo tea factory in Nandi. An opportunity when I was at Baraton University to take my students there, and we went to this factory. Very interesting. You have never been to a tea factory, go to one. You take a lot of tea, most of you guys, but see how the tea is made from the green leaves coming from the farm, the grating, the weighing, cleaning, and then it goes through the process, drying, all the process until you see tea at the end being packaged and being sent to the shopping center. To the consumers. Now, this company was talking about diversifying, getting what they call tea, that specialized tea, and they wanted to put together a new line of production for that tea. And so they were diversifying in new products. And so in this case, resources are needed. They must invest in that. So we are saying that the diversified entity will lose due to having limited investment resources, and so that becomes a disadvantage. If a school wants to expand, they need resources to build more classes, hire more staff. Yeah, they can see the potential is there. Ashok Honor has. Hello. Yes. Hello.
Hello, you're getting you, sir.
I lost you because of power interruption, eh?
Okay.
Yes, sorry for that. We lost about a minute or so. Power interruption. And so we're getting right. Sorry for that.
Yes.
Good. Hello. Are we together again?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I lost that because of the power. And at the university, there was a problem. Yes. Please, can you mute your mic? BPSM 022, can you mute your mic, please, as we continue? Right. So we are talking about disadvantages of diversification. A diversified entity will lose out due to having limited investments. Resources are not available. Therefore, diversification limits the growth of opportunities for an entity. That does that. Then diversification into a new market segment will demand a new skill set. You know, you need new skills, new knowledge, a new way of doing things. You need a capacity to diversify. Like I gave this example of Kipchabo factory, tea factory in near Baraton. They were going to have a new line of production of tea, but they need a specialist in that line of product. They are not going to do the normal tea. What they are going to do is this purple tea, or whatever they call it, a new type of tea, which is a kind of a specialty. So they need skills, lack of expertise. An example could be also if you are doing with a diversified products and having new type of products. Like if you are in confectionery business, it's a big dynamic one, and you want to be making French cuisine, French meals, French bread, in somebody who has learned about that, and so on and so forth. So skills if you are diversifying. Mismanaged diversification or excessive ambition to lead a company over expanding into too many different directions at the same time. In such a case, all the new sectors of the entity will suffer due to insufficient resources. Again, here, lack of attention. You spread yourself too thin. We talk about people, Kenyan entrepreneurs. There's a small shop which expands into a slightly supermarket, probably a medium-sized supermarket. You go see the fellow is in farming, very busy farming, hiring farms and growing whatever, maybe to sell in the supermarket, we don't know. Or going into transport, the fellow is matatus, running the transport, public transport. The fellow is overspread. And then they're also real estate. You know, they're very busy buying plots and oh my goodness, they are spreading themselves too thin. So one disadvantage of diversification is that you can spread yourself too thin, lack of resource and attention by the owner, and you realize that, or by the directors, you realize that business is not doing very well. A widely diversified company will not be able to respond quickly to market change. Yeah, the market changes, you have all these tentacles everywhere, you can't change and shift very quickly. So it's a disadvantage. It means you must only diversify within a limited scope, that it gives you freedom to expand, to grow, and so on. Right. Are there other disadvantages? Let me get back here. Are there other disadvantages of diversification? Instead, or discuss any other disadvantage of diversification. Yes. Discuss any other disadvantage of diversification. Tell us that. Alan Odor Karibu, yes. Members, yes. I want to hear from you or read from you. Atieno Angonga. Can we read from you, Atieno? Yes. I said discuss any other disadvantage of diversification. You look at diversity, these are the disadvantages mentioned here. Are there any others in your own opinion? Are there any other? Yes. Let's hear from you, discuss other. Need to hear from you. Rostondop, where are you quiet? I want to read from you guys or hear from you. Yes, Amedius. Discuss any other. Yes, Jacqueline. Reduces quality. There are only so many quality companies, and even less that are priced at levels that provide margin of safety. Too complicated, huh? Yes. I'm okay. Thank you. I'm okay. Thank you for being very active. Indexing, market risk, bad investment vehicles, lack of focus or attention to your portfolio. Okay. I'll cost it in terms of adoption and recruiting new skill. Yeah, it's costly. We're going to reduce to hire new people. Bad investment vehicle. What do you mean exactly, Mary Ann? Maybe you talk about bad investment vehicles. You can say a little more. Yeah, an organization will stop concentrating one more core that is more profitable. Yes. If you say something, I would encourage you to go farther than really just a statement. That's why we say discuss. And there is where we have problems, many of you students. Questions that we ask you in the exam or wherever, we want you to tell us more. Now, most of you being fourth years, gone through university all those years, you know, we teach you to argue a case, to discuss, to give your opinion, not a statement, say a little more. You know, when you say bad investment or new skills required, say more. What sort of skills do you think? An organization will stop concentrating on core, yes, business that is more profitable. Yes, what else? What will that happen? If they stop doing that, what happens eventually? Go further. Say then, of course, the company may come down or whatever. At Tiena Gonga, low returns might be experienced. Yes. What do you mean exactly? Can you say a little more, Angonga? Mbuthia Amos, where are we? Questing, where are we? Mbuthia Amos. Right. So as you keep your responses coming, I want to move the next slide. slides talk about risks of diversification. Earlier we talked about disadvantages. Disadvantage of diversification, there are quite a number of them. Spreading too thin, of course. Suffering you are actually, the other ones are suffering in that your core business may be affected in that you are concentrating on bigger markets, more products, and you spread too thin. Now, what are the risks of diversification? They are high risk, they are too complicated, reduces quality and significant expansion of human and financial resources. So the risk here is high risk. There are inherent risks associated with developing new products. And also because of the business lack of experience working within the new market. Let's pause for a minute, look at that. Of course, thank you for those comments. Reduced profit and losses may occur. Low returns might be experienced. Organization will stop on the building. Yeah, that's all coming. That's good. Those are good comments. Now, high risk. If we pause for a minute about high risk, what exactly is high risk? It means what? It means there is inherent risk. Within there is uncertainty. Risk is really uncertainty. There's inherent inbuilt uncertainty associated with developing a new product. Right. A new product, all of us know, you are not so sure what this product will get the market. And if you spend a lot of resources, you need to gauge how long it will take before you break even. So there is that will happen. That even the new market, new product, people may not like the test. They may want you to look at different approaches in terms of, give us something else, not this one. Not that one, yeah? Also because of the business, lack of experience. Yeah, you don't have experience in this area. If you go to hotelier, you're moving into farming or moving into transport, into public, into real estate, they don't have all the portfolios about. They don't know all about the nitty-gritty that. Reduces quality. Some of you have talked about quality area, which is very good. Quality will be affected. To more stocks you put in your portfolio, the less concentrated your portfolio will be in the best. Yes, you actually reduce the quality. It means it's not what it was because you have overspread yourself. Significant expansion of human and financial resources. Yes, is that expansion, the risk of that? You require more people. This can sometimes have a tremendous effect on the location of resources in the core industry. Yeah. So these are some of the risks. Is there any other risk? Diversifying risk is done in order to protect a company's financial position. So if a company does not protect itself through the diversification, instead leaves itself exposed, yes, it's vulnerable. It reduces innovation and creative workers with a concentrate on specific product. Diversification brings about low esteem because diversification doesn't mean immediate increase itself. Yeah, right. That's right. Reduces yourselves and so on and so forth. Thank you for those answers and those messages you're bringing there. Thank you very much. Reduce innovation, diversification is in order to protect companies' financial position. Yes, lack of focus. What if someone else is managing your portfolio, you probably don't pay as much attention to it because somebody else is managing for you. Yes, it's interesting. We can see that diversification has its disadvantages and has its risks that are inbuilt in the process. Unless well done, well thought through, well planned and executed, you find that diversification might actually be undoing of your company. You don't want your company to come down because you went to new products. A good example, which is not too distant ago, is when the government opened up higher education, universities. Before that, there were only 2 universities in this country. Before the 1990s, around there was only, of course, 90s or 80s, mid-80s, put it that way. There was only University of Nairobi with this constituent called Kenyatta College, and Moi University came on board. So there were 2 universities. Of course, higher education was limited. Competition was so high to get indoors. Then there was this expansion after 844. 844 came in and it is open space because kids would not, many of you went through, you don't remember this, but some we did not maybe. After Form 4, 844 must be 844. Before that, there used to be A levels. People after Form 4 years of secondary school, you go to advanced level 2 years and you go to university. So there was a way of sifting again, getting fewer and fewer people going further. Now, when the expansion came, The government made a decision and said, we open space for higher education. So constituent colleges came in. More university, of course, Kenyatta University became a full-fledged university, okay? And Kenyatta, the University of Nairobi opened other campuses. More university where I was went on a kind of more or less a frenzy expansion. Masinde Muliro, first of all, Masena University came in as University College. Masinde Muliro came in as University College. Then when Narongo comes in, those are recent ones. Then Karatina comes in. All these universities, you can see, I'm just naming a few. There was that frenzy of opening campuses. Diversification, if you may use it. Yeah, a new location. Product could be different, slightly different, but the same product. So in that case, it affected the main campus. Resources that were supposed to build the main campus in the Usengishu, in the Eldoret, went to those branches. Buying land, acquiring buildings, hiring new staff for those places. It affected the center. I want to say that. So the same thing when we go on with diversification in companies and businesses. You may see examples of businesses that are diversified. And when they diversified, the risk was, people are doubtful about its performance. Maybe we can give an example. Can you give us an example of an institution or a company that over-diversified? I've given universities went into frenzy and services at the center actually went low, I may say that. What about others in sector, in industry? Do you have any example of a company that over-diversified and ran into the risk of diversification? Any other company, and you may think about it. The risk here being new products, new markets, complicated investors into, the portfolios is weakened, and the quality went down. Maybe tell us maybe one or two of that in your examples as you get us questions. Otherwise, risks are there for diversification. The risks are uncertainties associated with the diversification, and we mentioned them here, what they are in brief. Then, of course, we'll get into the forms of diversification. And before we do that, let me get some of the answers. I see Mulogosi, market risk, because as the company concentrates on tapping new markets, it may lose the initial market. Yes? And the lack of focus in that if someone else is managing your portfolio, yeah, we read that earlier. Yes. So market risk is there. You are there, they're not so sure. When it comes to forms of diversification, Blue Band tried to produce Choco Blue Band, but they did not manage to secure the product. Market risk because the company concentrated on tapping new markets, yes, and so on. Right. Forms of diversification. What are they? What are the forms of diversification? And here we've put about 3 items under this subtopic. Diversification can present itself in a variety of forms, a variety of different forms, depending on the direction a business wishes to move in. Diversification can present 7 different varieties. It can either be related or unrelated to the current business offering, as we saw earlier, can be related or not. There are various forms of diversification for any business. Here there are 4, but in other write-ups there are 6 forms. There is gorilla, there's another one, competitive. But for now, these 4 are classic forms of diversification which you come across. Market risk because of the company concentrating on tapping new markets. Yeah. Atieno, Blue Band is trying to produce sugar but couldn't. Yeah. I think these are comments that came from earlier question I raised. But for now, it's good for us to know that there are 4 basic forms of diversification. And we define diversification as a strategy to grow your market. And it means it takes different forms. Let's see what forms it does. And one of the forms it does is horizontal diversification. What is horizontal diversification? Malima, again, we continue. Yeah. What is, when you talk about horizontal diversification, what do we mean by horizontal diversification? Maybe it's a little bit. What do you mean by horizontal diversification? This is what we mean actually. Horizontal, you remember, talk about the graphs, language of graphs come in here, vertical, horizontal. Horizontal means just running across. Diversification deals with what? That will involve the farm moving into operations at the same state of production. Yes, same state of production. Horizontal occurs when the farm enters a new business, either related to unrelated, at the same stage of production as its current operations. If it's manufacturing flour, you just continue into manufacturing from cereals, flour. That's what you are doing. So your horizontal diversification, you can talk about the brown flour from finger millet, talk about the flour from the beans and legumes, and talk about flour from the cassava, flour from whatever. You are actually doing the same level of production, same stage. That's horizontal, at the same level. You are not going up into packaging, growing, but you are dealing with what is currently there in the market and what you are doing at what stage. Horizontal regulation occurs when a farm enters the new, either related. Horizontal diversification is typically the diversification strategy with the least amount of risk involved, as they are working mostly within familiar customer and market base. Yes, that's what diversification does. What you are doing is you are actually learning, or you're not learning, but what you're saying, you are still within the same customer base. You have not gone far from the customer base. For example, a notebook manufacturer that enters the pen market is pursuing horizontal diversification strategy. You are manufacturing books, exercise books, writing material, and you also go into making pens. Same level is a horizontal diversification. This is common. Today, diversification that's common is actually horizontal. The next one is, we talk about advantages. What are the advantages of horizontal diversification? And some of the advantages given here, exploiting internal economies of scale, including bulk buying, technical economies, and financial economies. Right. What is happening here is that you are using the same scale of manufacturing. You only expand how much you are manufacturing more of a different product, but you are using almost similar structures that are there. Current. Cost saving from the rationalization of the business. This is often involves the short-term job losses. That's cost saving from rationalization of the business. Potential to secure revenue synergies by creating and selling a wider range of products. Yes, you are the wider range of products. Pencils here, books here, you are dealing with that. And you can see what's happening with most of the supermarkets now. Supermarkets are doing what they call horizontal diversification. Products they are selling. You get today, they are selling apparels, they are selling also household goods like fridges, cookers, gas. They are all in this area. What they have done is they've done horizontal diversification. Reduces competition by removing key rivals, yes, and buying an existing well-known brand can be cheaper in the long run, yes. When you look at diversification by acquiring other businesses that are doing similar things, you are building an empire. That is talking about advantages of diversification. We want to go on very quickly before we pose another question. Is disadvantages of horizontal. Oh, also disadvantages. Yes, if there are advantages, there will be disadvantages. The downside of horizontal diversification. Risk, of course, of these economies. Reduced flexibility and mergers risk destroying the stockholder. What are we saying here about diversification? We may go further. See that again, Malim sits down a little bit. Yeah. Risk of economies of scale from the enlarged businesses, especially if there are clashes of management style, culture, wider problems with integrating businesses that operate in very different ways. Yeah. This is almost what happened, although this was an acquisition by KCB taking over National Bank of Kenya. You see, there was a little bit of that. National Bank of Kenya are resisting and so on. And there are many of this kind, where we talk of these economies of scale from the large business, especially if they are class management, so people don't work. Okay, they're fighting each other for positions. Now, reduced flexibility. The addition of more personnel and process means need for more transparency and accountability. Yeah, it's a big company. It's like from a small business to a large business. what you do here is you really talk about flexibility is reduced. You are working now system, procedures, this flexibility where you're more in a little bit informal running the business. Now, when you join another business, bigger business, then you formalize your processes so that you are seen as an entity. That's what it means. Mergers risk destroying shareholder value. Yes, when you merge, shareholders, where do they belong? And their shares increasing or going down because of this merger. These are things that one has to be wary about when you talk about horizontal. Now, vertical diversification. And before I do that, may I pose a question here? What Kenyan examples can you give about this? What examples, not Kenyan, what examples, what are the examples? What are the examples of horizontal diversification witnessed recently in the Kenyan market, Kenyan market. I'm still looking at home, Kenyan market. The question is, what are the examples of horizontal diversification witnessed recently in the Kenyan market? Recently in the Kenyan market. Barclays and Absa Bank. Barclays and Absa Bank. What are the examples of horizontal diversification witnessed recently in the Kenyan market? Yes, Absa Bank, very good. That's a good example. Now we are calling it, was it diversification by Absa Bank or was it by Barclays Bank? Maybe this is what Jackie would have mentioned. What was it? Is it Barclays or Absa? Who is who? You see, all was painted red. The whole town painted red. And I was disappointed because the color they used, shouting color. Blue was cool, But when they merged, what happened? You can see they lost. I'm sure many customers also left. I almost left Barclays Bank because the color is not as appealing, So when we talk about Barclays, which is which? What are some of the examples of horizontal? Recently, the banks here, the bank industry, yes, they are doing banking, retailing, wholesaling a bit of it. You can see that. What else? What are the examples of horizontal diversification witnessed recently in the Kenyan market? We've seen that. I see some examples here. Angela, Jacqueline, Malo. Angel's company were diversified by cosmetic products. Great. Yes, you want to say something? Hello? Yes? Who is speaking? BBSM 02-774. BBM, Jacqueline Amoki, are you saying something? Yes, Jacqueline? Jacqueline, you are on the stage. Okay. Cosmetics, yes. I'm looking at the companies. Merged recently, yes. Not merged, but had in horizontal integration. Angel's company. Yeah. Any others? Keep coming as we go along. Right. So as we go along here, let's get into disadvantages, risk of these economies, reduced flexibility, mergers, risk destroying shareholder value. Yeah, Angel's company were diversified, product, cosmetics, and so on. Yeah. I see others typing for the question, answering that question. What are the examples of horizontal diversification? Right. As we go along, let's move as we wait for more comments from members. Vertical diversification is the second level of diversification. We talked about horizontal. Now we're talking about vertical. Horizontal, vertical. Horizontal and vertical. Vertical and horizontal. Horizontal is in the same level of industry. Manufacturing, and so on. Now, vertical is slightly different. What does it mean? Vertical is also known as vertical. I mean, this one is occurs when farms undertake operation at different stages of production. I saw some of the answers. What are the examples? Jacqueline Malo, Angels Company of Diversify, BBSM, Jacqueline Amoke. Yes, a notebook manufacturer that entered the open market for pens and so on. Amedius, Facebook acquisition of Instagram. Okay, Rostondop in the supermarket, Quick Mart absorbed Tumaini, yes, absorbed or the merged. Unilever company likes Blue Band. Over diversifying products such as Blue Band, peanut butter, and so on. Yes, is it over or is it diversification? You know, and so on to get new products, right? So let's get to vertical. Vertical here is you are looking at different stages of production. Vertical diversification occurs when a company moves up or down the supply chain by combining two or more stages of production, normally operated by separate entities. This typically means that a company that decides to start taking over some of all the functions related to the production and distribution of their core product, such as the purchase of raw materials, manufacturing processes, assembly, distribution, and sale. Wow. So instead of just producing for others to sell, or you waiting to get raw materials, you can also go and control the raw materials. You've seen some supermarkets have farms for horticultural products. Nakumatt had, Taskis, I think, has, Uchumi had. They had hired farms out there where they grow the greengrocers, the vegetables, and so on. And this is from their own farms. So they sell products from their own farms. If it is beef, they have their own feedlot where the beef animals feeding. You know, where they take care of them and they slaughter them and bring the butchery within the supermarket. There are those, this is all talking about vertical integration, where you are looking at different levels of production. You can be farming, then of course manufacturing, and then produced into brought to you. The same thing with the milk. You can see ATM machines. But ATM machines really is a person, the supermarket may be owning cattle. This milk is pasteurized, and brought to be sold in the supermarket using those ATMs. And you see that's vertical integration, vertical diversification. This typically means that the company decides to start taking over all its functions. This is a look at functional level, which form the core of the company. Involves the different stages of production, can be developed into company internal diversification or by acquiring another company external diversification. Yeah. So this is basically about vertical. You are looking at key one here, different stages of production of the same product, from raw materials to manufactured product to the sales to the customers. And one chain value. That's what it means, vertical integration. So that you are not really, you wholesale also. You are manufacturing, you are wholesaling, and you are retailing. Are there examples, Kenyan examples of this kind? I gave Kenyan example, one of them was supermarkets. They are growing their own vegetables and having their own fish ponds to get fish to sell in the supermarket. That happens. That's vertical integration, different levels of production. Unless there's any question, any example. Give one example. One example of vertical integration. Vertical integration in the region, Sabra region. Kenya to be where? Give one example of vertical integration in the region. Give one example of regional integration in the region. Post that question, sending to you guys. Give one example of vertical integration in the region. You look at the comments, look at the concepts here. Different levels of production, stages. Tuvei Faith, yes, you want to say something? Tuvei Faith? Or Rostondop, today you have not talked Rostondop, be quiet.
Hello?
Yes, Rosendop, can you give us some examples?
Yes.
Give us some examples. Yes.
I can give an example of general motor industry in Kenya.
Yeah.
I think it has applied the vertical diversification strategies. Yes, because it produces different things that make it permittable in the market. Yes.
Okay. General Motors have done vertical because it's looked at different levels. Yes, good example. Is it necessary, you think? Is vertical diversification necessary? Are there advantages to it? Yes? Members, are there advantages of vertical in the diversification? Irene Richard. Irene Richard, I see you are there. Geothermal for Kenya, Turkana Thermal, yes. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Jacqueline. Again, example, vertical Kenya getting into its own geothermal from Kenya, Turkana. Right? Philippines Bogo technology giant Apple, which has retail location to sell its product, yes. Example, vertical in Kenya is getting non-geothermal, yeah. Right. So there are various examples. Keep them coming. Thank you very much. We can go on. Advantage vertical diversification strategies. What are some of the strategies for vertical integration? What are some of them? The advantages of horizontal integration are economies of scale. What about vertical? We're talking about vertical. Huh? Vertical diversification, the steps that are a product goes through is being transformed from raw material to finished product in the process of the customer. Yeah, vertical, yeah, it is running through. When the farm diversifies closer to the source of raw materials in the stage of production, it follows a backward vertical integration. It can be backward or forward. Example, if you are a retailer, vertical might mean moving into manufacturing the product. Yeah, we mentioned about that. Yeah, flour milling, for example, is one of those vertical. Company that does farming and goes into flour milling and distribution. While this can help to lower the cost by covering all needs of your business, the downside is that it can reduce the flexibility of your business and reduce the opportunity to horizontal. Yeah. Once you do vertical, it means you are controlling from the top, the retailing, the whatever shop is selling to the customers, to manufacturing at this level and going back to where raw materials come from. So you are really all in all, you are there. It's like the old farmers. They used to make their own butter, their own ghee, They milk, they make their own ghee, they make their own butter. They are not moving anywhere. Yeah, that's what happened. But with the commercialization that has come in, of course, vertical integration is not very, very common because there are people doing different things at different levels. We'll see that shortly. Yeah. Vertical diversification strategies. There are two forms of vertical diversification, which are identified by the direction you move in the supply chain: forward and backward. If you look at forward, the beginning of supply chain in terms of business positioning, you might decide you want to control operations further along the chain as well. An example of this could be a mining company in size 2 wants to expand into processing and developing raw materials to be sold in the market. Forward, you're looking at the market. Backward, if you are close at the supply chain, you think you are you can think about how diversify into the market that funnel into your products. For example, Netflix began as media distribution platform, but now manufactures its own content. Yeah, backward, looking at the manufacturing from the backward side, those raw materials and things like those, development stage, and here you look at the high end, which is actually the market. So you can do that diversification, which is part of vertical diversification, and so on. Then, of course, the other item here coming in is advantages of vertical integration. This was coming. When you talk about vertical integration, we're talking about controlling the chain, different levels of production. What are the advantages of this? You achieve economies of scale. It means the bulkier they make, the cheaper the cost of production, and therefore the lower the price. So it's economies of scale means that here. One way to do this is to buy supplies in bulk, spreading the cost over a larger quantity of products. Yeah, you buy large and your price is lower. Create new profit centers. Online stores such as Amazon, Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba now enable manufacturers to sell direct to the customers anywhere, anytime, creating an entirely new center of earnings. Yes, you're talking of vertical. Instead of you selling, you're allowed now to go beyond the boundaries that are normally defined by diversification. But here you can see you can create new profit centers. I talked about Samji. It does exact almost this online, although they are not online, but Alibaba, Amazon, they are doing that. So that you give their customers, your clients who are actually retailing, advantage of this. Expand geographically by adding distribution centers. Yeah, one of the advantages, you'll expand because you're going to be picking from different centers. A good example of vertical integration could also be some of these circles or cooperatives. An opportunity to research around Kidunguri dairies. And you see, Kidunguri dairies is very interesting. The research we are doing was to see if Kidunguri Farmers Cooperative Society could be able to assist its farmers, one hand, and the clients on the other. Clients on the other hand are you and me. We buy fresher milk. They make fresher milk, yogurt, name it. That is the vertical. I mean, this is the market. But then the farmers, they went further to engage the farmers, extend that their members, they grow their products. Hello, Regina, can you please mute your Regina, unless you want to say something, please mute your phone. So what Giving has done is that they have, with the farmers, it goes on by the farmers, they have provided inputs to the farmers, they give them the animals, they give them the veterinary services, they also grow fodder for the animals, they grow hay. In fact, the project we're doing is big major project to hire farms, grow hay, bale this hay, transport the farmers, and get the farmers good quality hay for good quality milk. You can see this is real vertical integration, because you're not just manufacturing milk, you could just remain manufacturing and selling. But what you have done is you've taken care of, first of all, the market. You have your name there, fresher, you're marketing it, various outlets. But the farmer who brings you the input, you integrate with them such that they get all the good quality inputs from your shops, which is their shops because they score, and go back to the hay, which is the main bulk product that is required, or input that is required. So vertical integration, there are advantages: gain economies of scale, create new profit centers, expand geographically. Yes, they expand geographically, going to other places of growing, like breweries. They are growing wheat and barley as far as Rift Valley, as far as Kericho, all the way to Narok, all the way to other parts of this country, where they grow their own product. They give the seeds and they give the input, techno input, the farmers who are growing this. So really they're controlling now the backward, so that they get the raw materials and so on and so forth. Anyway, expand geographically, so they have to expand geographically. Maintain quality control, yes, that comes in, because vertical integration makes sure that you have good quality control in terms of standards. Differentiate from competitors by allowing company to sell itself apart from its competitors. Yeah, that happens. These are advantages of vertical integration. Now, coming back to some of the answers here, we had asked the question, I had posed the question earlier. What was the question we posed here, up here? The question we posed up here, more answers here, was what are the examples of horizontal, and many of them have given example of vertical. Okay, we also talked about vertical getting its own geothermal from Kenya, examples of vertical getting into geothermal. Okay, same person. Technology giant Apple has done that. What else you want? Okay. This thing's not going down anymore, eh? Oh, I do that. Okay. Some of the responses, for instance, Bogo reduce competition in the market, increase customer sales, increase market share. Yes, advantages will create competitiveness and so on. And medios maintain quality. Yeah, these are advantages of vertical integration, expand and grow. Next, if we move further and go to the next one is here talking about disadvantages. Where the advantage, there's advantages. Vertical integration. Established distribution channels may be as adversely affected. Unprofitable outcome. Vertical integration can be expensive. Yeah, obsolescence due to new technologies. You get stuck with old technologies and you want to control it. Then it's obsolescent technology. Higher cost due to lower volume. Yeah, higher cost due to lower volume. If you go into manufacturing, you may not be able to keep costs as low as independent suppliers who sell to many other customers. Yeah, going that side. Distribution channels may be adversely affected and profit outcomes may come. Vertical integration has some challenges, obsolescence, equipment. These are some of the disadvantages of vertical integration. Next one is concentric diversification. Yeah, you remember we talked about various. This was one of those diversifications. This is the third one. We'll go to the last one. Concentric, as the word suggests, basically is really dealing with the company enters the new market with a new product in technology. New market. When a company enters a new market with a new product that is technologically similar to their current products, and therefore are able to gain some advantage by leveraging this industry. Technical know-how and sometimes even manufacturing processes are already in place. Yeah, concentric is dealing with technology of similar products you're already dealing. Concentric diversification can be beneficial if sales are declining. An example of concentric diversification would be a computer manufacturing who diversified from clunky desktop PCs into laptops and so on. This would allow them to immediately take advantage of it. From the computers, the big desktop, to laptops and so on, and even handsets. This is concentric. You are dealing with market with a new product that is technologically similar to what you have. Talk about concentric. And then, of course, advantages here is taps into existing infrastructure. You are using the same infrastructure. Enables business synergy. Yes, business synergy, running together with what you already have in place, existing. And increased market share. In this case, the market share is increased because of your diversification. It often leads to greater market share, which is defined as the percentage of total consumers a company has captured with its product or services. Yeah, increase market share. These are some of the advantages. There could be others as well of concentric diversification, because we talked about concentric as dealing with the product, the market, you're already there. Company enters the market with a new product that's technologically similar to their current product. And therefore, it's the advantages are all there because you have the infrastructure is there. And the synergy comes in, increase market share, and so on. With the disadvantages, on the other hand, advantage of concentric, okay. Let's see if we can read this. This is a summary, a table. Leave a move it here like this. When you talk of, again, concentric here, is you enjoy economies of combined of scale, economies of internal control, economies of avoiding the market. These advantages of concentric. Quality, tap into technology, and enhanced ability to differentiate. And then barriers, assume supply demand, defense against lockout, create barriers by controlling supplies, and so on. These are some of the advantages. You can read about them. I think you can read about them at some stage. We have the notes for you guys. Now, when it comes to disadvantage, those are advantages of concentric. Economies of scale, economies of internal control and so on, tap into technology that's there already, assume supply and demand. And then, on the other hand, when we come to disadvantages, enlarge that a little bit. Yeah, disadvantages of concentric diversification. It may not be cheaper to do it or do it oneself, especially if suppliers have economies of scale. Because here economies of scale means suppliers are supplying large quantities to different people, but you, instead of receiving the supply, you are actually manufacturing your own. Increased operating gearing, dull incentives, that means people are not innovative enough, capital investment flexibility. These are things you can read about, these advantages and disadvantages. Cut off from supplier customers, reduce flexibility to switch to better suppliers, different managerial requirements, and so on. Barriers are here also, much more difficult to exit the industry. Once you are there, no, much more, it's not possible. Okay, for the next one. Right. And let's say a comment on that. I want to get to conglomerate. We're back in conglomerate. Concentric was one of those forms of diversification. But now we come to the next one, which is almost shares the name conglomerate. What does that mean? You've heard about conglomerates in the business sector. What does that mean? If you look at conglomerate, you look at diversify completely new markets. And when you're dealing with new markets with products, brand names, and so on, it's a new market you are getting into. All right, let's enlarge this a little bit, make it smaller a little bit there. Before we enlarge it a little, maneuvering this a little bit. If you are looking for diversify into completely new markets with unrelated products to reach brand new customer bases, this is known as conglomerate diversification. Here is new markets, unrelated products, and new customers. Conglomerates. These are dealing with different companies. Lonro company, if you remember many years back, we owned this African tanning company, was a conglomerate. They are in manufacturing, they are in mining, they are in farming, they are in many areas. They are in feedlot, beef for animals for beef. So you are dealing with different diversified products. This is new markets, new products, and new customer base. The term conglomerate refers to single corporate group operating multiple business entities within entirely different locations. Do you have examples of conglomerates? Conglomerates in East Africa. Do you have any examples of this? Even in Kenya? Examples of conglomerates in East Africa? Yeah? Company dealing with very many diversified products. I see there Regina Karonji. You want to say something, Karonji? Regina, oh, you are okay. I can see you have your mic is on. Yes, you want to say something? Yes, Regina. Hello, Regina. I can see you. Yes. See, you're flickering. Your mic is on. Yeah. What about the others? Let's get examples. Can you give us examples of conglomerates? Yes. Felicitas Mbogo talked about nation media. Can we zero in on nation media a little bit? Why do we think nation media is a conglomerate? Yes, Felicitas, do you want to expand further? Or any other member? Why is that so? Any other member? Do we agree? Do we agree with Felicitas? We agree with Felicitas. Members, if we agree with her, tell us. Do we agree with Felicitas? Do we agree with Felicitas on the what? Nation Media. Karonji, are we back to you, Karonji? Karonji, yeah. Right. So do we agree with Felicitas? Members, we are talking of conglomerate is diversification into cast the net wide. When you cast the net wide, you have the small fish, you know, you have the small fish, you have the omenas, you have the Nile perch in the Lake Victoria, you have the mud fishes there, everything is brought in. You cast the net widely, completed new markets and related products and so on. Yeah, do we agree with Felicitas? Emmanuel Ngetich, before we answer you, Coca-Cola is one of them, yes. But do we agree with Felicitas that Nation Media Group is a conglomerate? And why do we think so? Let me get your responses. You have opportunity to grab the mic and talk to Malimi directly, talk to us directly, or we can go further and hear you out. Yes? Do we agree? As Ireli says yes, Jacqueline Malo says yes. What makes you do that, think that way? Nation Media, okay, here I can see Kirui has something here. Shut up, Kiru. Yes, because Nation Media operates radios and TVs, okay? And they related radio news, TV news, newspaper news, yeah, are they in another area altogether? When you go to the definition, really it talks about unrelated, with unrelated products and services. Yes, there's lots of media operating, yes. Yeah, you may agree, to a large extent, yes, that Nation Media could, because it has different products. Although they are related in a way, there's also print media, electronic media they use, you know, print, electronic, and audiovisual, the TV. Let's get other examples. What about other examples? Are there other Coca-Cola? Yes, Coca-Cola and teach. Why do you think Coca-Cola is a conglomerate? Why do you think so, Ngetich? Yes? Rostondo, you want to answer that?
I want to give another.
Yes?
I want to give another example.
You want to give another example, but do you agree, first of all, with Ngetich?
About Coca-Cola.
Is it a conglomerate?
About Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Coca-Cola deals with soft drinks.
Yes.
So they are related in a way. I don't think it goes with the definition.
Yeah, because the question here is unrelated products, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. If they go to water, they're also making water. Do we agree?
They're also
Could that be
making
example
water.
or they're related? Yes?
They are related because it's a drink.
It's a drink. Good.
Yes.
So Coca-Cola company is not exactly. I see Marlo wanted to say something because all numerous companies like TVs, radios, you know, what we're talking about are related in that if it's media, it's media, but away from media. Yes, Roston, do you want to give yours?
Yes, I wanted to give an example of Samsung.
Yes.
Samsung have shown an example which is it's intermarrying with our definition, because apart from producing cell phones, it also produces other electronics like TVs, fridge, which are not related product, because a cell phone has its own function, a TV has its own function, a fridge has its own function, electronic, others like a water jug. So I think Samsung is a good example.
Okay.
Yes.
Do others agree? Before I comment on that, let's hear some other people. Do you agree with the Rostondo members, Atiena Ngonga, or Ireri, or Emmanuel, or Jacqueline? Do we agree with Rostondo? Samsung is an example she has given. Odwar, are we together? Do we agree? Yes. I think it's related. Tiana Zentam investment, yes. I see people giving different examples. Yes. Right. Yes, I agree with Rostondo. Yes. Irene, yes. Yes, I see. Tuvei says yes. Alador, I don't agree with Zero, since they are all electronic. Yes, interesting. They are all electronic, but they are serving different purposes, isn't it? Under electronics. Yes, I agree with Tinia, Riara School. You are giving examples, eh? Jacqueline, I'm okay. I and M, somebody has given. Now, Roston Dobbs is closer to a conglomerate. Why? A cell phone, Samsung. Of course, it's not a TV. It is for communication. You talk, you hear, you send them messages. The phone, Samsung. Now, television is giving you basically news and features. So different product altogether, television. So it's closer to a conglomerate because the acid test here, which we use normally, acid test is that they are unrelated products. They are not related. So if they are not related, there could be electronics field. Electrical cars are there, and so on. So electronics, like radio, the radio could be close to the phone on TV, but they're clearly different. So unrelated. So the acid test is, are they unrelated products? Reaching brand new customers. Yes. Customers for TVs are different from those of cell phone. Yeah, that's true. And so it's different customers, different products. It's like farming, commercial farming in Narok. Some businesses, what they do here is, you say retail, wholesale. Wholesale business in Ruiru town have hired 1,000 acres of land in, let's say, Narok to grow wheat, or in Laikipia to keep beef animals. Beef animals that they keep there would be sold to KMC, Kenya Meat Commission, and other major butchers, basically KMC for export. That's what they're doing. Why they are doing what? They are retailing or wholesaling in Ruiru, household goods. They could also be having some butcher section where there's meat, but that's not major. The major is household goods. So we say that one is a conglomerate if it's doing that kind of thing. So conglomerate by its definition and its thrust is really unrelated. It's a new market, is unrelated products, and so on. Motor vehicles, you've seen some companies going to motor vehicles. Honda, for example. Honda makes fridges. Honda fridges, I've seen them. Yeah, there could be Honda fridges, and they're also Honda motor vehicles. You see that? So many examples here can see here. Some of you have given us some examples here. I&M Bank. You ask yourself, what service does I&M Bank? Are there products, services that are not related? And new market, new product. Centum is the same story. Samia Group. Good examples are they? Bitco. Is Bitco one of them? Yes, are products related when you look at what they're doing. If they're all household for consumption, they are related, the same housewife is the one targeted, then it's not a conglomerate. Yeah? It's like concentric or whatever. Right. Okay. Having said that, listen, gentlemen, I see, thank you very much for these comments. I'm seeing under electronics, Riara School. Riara School, if I may comment on Riara School. Riara School here, what does it do, really? Does it go outside education? They have a nursery, primary, secondary, and university. Are they outside the education sector? Regina Gironji. Regina Karonji, you want to say something? We are talking of Riara School, group of schools. Unless they have gone into farming or real estate, if they are also running real estate, then you can say they are actually a conglomerate because they are dealing with real estate with different market clientele are homeowners. Whereas they are teaching education, training, they also have homeowners. Or insurance, if they're in insurance brokerage or whatever, insuring motor vehicles, they are unrelated. So companies, businesses that do that. So businesses diversify that way. Why do they diversify? We'll see. So the term conglomerate refers to a single corporate group operating multiple businesses. Parent company owns all the individual entities known as a conglomerate, and it's become one by successful implementing conglomerate diversification strategy. An example of conglomerate diversification is here, Tata Group. Very good example. You have seen Tata vehicles out here sometimes in market, shops. When Tata came first here, I was one of the first customers to get a double cabin pickup. I still use today of Tata Group. You know, Tata Group, what does they do as a conglomerate? Which was founded 1868. Wow, 1868. Wow, before partition of Africa, before Kenya existed, before you and I existed, of course, you have the great grandparents up to 10th generation or 15th generation. They first were from humble beginnings as a hotel company. Wow. Who knew that Tata was a hotel company in 1868 into global multinational encompass company, 100 individual companies. It employs over 700,000 people across a variety of sectors, such as chemicals, steel, automotive, engineering, telecommunications, information systems, and consumables. Wow! Tata. You could look and you could see Tata milk. Yeah, I milk brandy Tata. Because it will go. Mercedes, the same thing, these companies. They sell using the name, of course. But the thing is, they are not related anyway. You may say they are related because of the human capacity, human family. Oh yeah, in the human family, yes. You are consuming either driving a car or using a cell phone by the same company, or using a fridge by the same company, or and so on and so forth. Using a TV by the same company, name, of course. You can see that happens. Samsung TVs are there, phones are there, and so on. So this Tata is a good, excellent example in that. Do we have an excellent example in Kenya of conglomerate diversification? Do we have an excellent example? You have given an example like Tata, 1868. It started as Hotelia up to where we are. Are there any examples in Kenya that we see? Jacqueline Amoke or something there. Let's see, let's get down. Let's see. Here. Centum, Bitco. Yes, lots of media operating there. TV, Skid Crew, yes. I see some here, yes. The We Coca-Cola, yes. Went back. Should be ahead there. Yeah, Mbutia Cavian Industries manufacturing juices, tomato sauces, and so on. Yeah, well, to some extent, yeah, there. Samia Group, yes. Samia is doing what? Motor vehicles and what else? Rice, even they're growing rice and even beef, milk. Yeah, Samia Group, yeah. Samia Group is a common one. They gone into farming. You see Samia Park, yeah, industrial park, and so on. These are examples of Kenyanism. What about indigenous Kenyan companies? Do you have any indigenous Kenyan companies? And I'll give you one for free. Indigenous Kenyan company is run by Kirubi. You can see Kirubi is running manufacturing and many other real estate. So manufacturing their Tiger brand items and so on. Kirubi is a good example. One of the examples, of course, Diversify is a conglomerate companies owned by Kirubi. Any others? There are also companies owning a number of things and so on. Samia Group, Centum, yes. MFCM, publishing automobiles, insurance, and real estate. Yeah, Centum is an example. Yes. Examples, many examples you can think about conglomerate diversification. The whole idea here is to increase the market and so on. There are reasons why you diversify also. We go into there. Let's get ahead a little bit and look at what are some of the disadvantages or what are the conglomerate diversification strategies. Okay, again here we are looking at one of the most common reasons for pursuing conglomerate growth is that opportunities in the firm's current line of business are limited. Because if you only concentrate on your line of business, you may be limited. So you want to expand and go beyond. The market is there for other things. And as an entrepreneurial firm, you want to make sure that you take advantages of what you see in the market. What are they? If there is no transport, you are only manufacturing juices and fruits, and you'll see that there is opportunity to transport. Why not offer executive transport in terms of taxi business? They are not related, but the market is there. You are investing. You, as an entrepreneur, you want to invest in profits. You want to make a difference in lives of people. So, finding an attractive investment opportunity requires the firm to consider alternatives in other types of business. Yes, firms may also pursue conglomerate diversification strategy as a means of increasing their firm's growth. Yes, growth may also increase the power and prestige of a firm's executives. Yes, we are a group of companies. If I heard of people talk of group of companies, KCB group of companies, they are in insurance, they are in real estate, they have invested in real estate, they are in insurance, they are also in savings and so on. Yeah, you may say this group of companies are actually conglomerates in a way because they are dealing with the different products. They may not be there directly, but they are. So to some extent, we have conglomerates in this country in terms of our companies and so on. Now we look at advantages and disadvantages because this has to come. What are some of the advantages of a conglomerate? Helps increase the growth earning rates. Yes, right. The earning rates are higher because profits are coming from the, some will make losses, some will make profits, but your tendency is to have increasing the growth earnings of your company. Helps in creating internal capital markets. Yes, internal capital market, raising money from one company to the other and lending to each other. One company lends to the other, it's possible. Helps in reducing the investment risks. Yes, you have diversified. One of the major reasons of diversification is to mitigate on risks. Same thing when we talk about diversification programs, certificate, diploma, and others. Yeah, Dangote is a good example. Felicitas, yes, if Dangote is dealing with cement, salt manufacturing. They want to do something in this country. I don't know what happened. Yeah, yes, Dangote, as you see. Yeah, you got a company dealing with cement, salt, and so on. Yeah, this country center is there. So reducing risks, mitigating against risks. If a company diversified, some of these importing products from China and so on and so forth, and that route is closed or very slow, they could be, if they diversify, they will be dealing with other products from other companies and other things. If real estate is not working, what about in manufacturing? Even these companies of this one of this one of Chandaria. Chandaria is never loses everything. They have diversified. DevKey, they have diversified. They are dealing with steel mills here, Ruiru here. You see steel mills out there making steel, Mabatis, and they're also in cement. Wow, are they related? Yes, in a way. Yes, because Mabati for building and cement for the mortar brick and so on and so forth. Yeah, related, but they're conglomerates. We say helps diversify. If nothing's doing well in the Mabati, cement is there, they can sell cement and products like those. That's why Kenyans are a good at diversification. Kenyan entrepreneurs, for information, you may not believe it, that some of these companies you see around are in many things. They might be in a real estate, which is very common, real estate, property. They are also in farming, commercial farming, coffee farming. Companies that hundreds, thousands of acres of coffee farming, not related directly to real estate, but they are there. They are also in dairy, large farms in dairy. Good example is the example that manufactures Brookside. When you look at Brookside, those separate companies, really, group of companies, Brookside has a lot of the company that has many other activities they do. You just go find out. But the thing is, some of these companies that have that so diversified in different fields, and so they have the advantage, of course, they reduce the risks. When one company is not doing, the other ones are doing well to support the organization going on. All right, disadvantages here are there. The overburden management creates extra costs. Of course, the extra costs on management if you are dealing with the group managing director. The extra costs coming in and the group this, group that, and so on. But not as much. Extra costs are there, but if they are supported by revenue, there may not be much of it. Various demographics based different can increase the risks. Yes, the risks are there because of various demographics. It means you have different regions, different products, and so on. And then focus can be misbalanced. Yeah, your focus. Where are you? Are you in real estate, or are you in transport, or are you in manufacturing? What are you? And somebody said, what color are you in? You know, an animal called what? Called this animal that changes color. It is either green background, is yellow background. What is that animal called? You know, are you that as a business? Or are you doing what? That's why there are issues. But conglomerates have done well globally. We want you to Google conglomerates globally that are very successful. And there are those that have not done very well. We have not done well in Kenya, but we are actually having a lot of conglomerates around. They may not be shouting. Kenyans don't tell you what they do. They say, well, I'm running a small kiosk here, but you don't know he's manufacturing. He's manufacturing something else. He's bottling something else elsewhere. He's also real estate. He has an estate. You know, all these, but they don't tell you much. But one of the formal companies, you can search and you find a group of companies. in Kenya. There are quite a few conglomerates, and they enjoy all these advantages, by the way, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Sasini PLC is with tea, coffee, macadamia, dairy, and yes, Sasini. Good example, Sasini. You can see that there are companies in Kenya here. Some of them have roots in absentee. I mean, not absentee. You talk about shareholders that are non-Kenyans out there. Yeah, but Sasini, good example. So all these are examples of yes. Chameleon camouflage, yeah, companies like that. Thank you very much, Wanjiru. No, it's camouflage, or it is, yeah, when they are in industry, they are actually industrialists. On the other hand, when they're retailing, Kenyans are in different types of, yeah. Next is we are looking at, reflection now. Oh, yeah, Malimu, you have read reflection, yes. Reflection questions here. And what is reflection questions? What I wanted to ask here. Reflection questions is, what is your take on diversification? Give us your opinion on the role, opinion on the place of diversification in modern economy. Give us your opinions on the place of diversification in the modern economy. Yeah. What are your opinions? We talked about what diversification is. Yes, but what's your opinion? Can we read something about this opinion on this diversification? We've touched quite a bit, a number of things on diversifying your products and so on. Give us your opinion on this. Jacqueline Malo. No, get out of here, get out of here. Jacqueline Malo has said something. I see I'm waiting for Jacqueline Malo. Give your opinion, give us your opinion on this. Yes. Jacqueline. Diversification risk by investing in investments that span different risks specific to company, industry, market, economy, or country. By diversifying, you're making sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Excellent. That's interesting. Keeping your eggs in one basket. Helps in improving market share, profits, and sustainable in the economy or your business. Yes? Yes, Emmanuel Ngetich helps in improving market share. Yes. Market presence. Yes. When you see this Sasini, you see something else Sasini. It's like these motor vehicle companies. You see one hand, you are seeing this company, they are manufacturing phones, they are manufacturing vehicles, manufacturing television sets. You see, very interesting. Helps presence. Yes, I'm waiting to hear it from you guys. Because we're moving towards closing today's session. Before we close today's session, we want to hear more about you guys. Budhia, yes. Amos helps in improving market share. Yeah, Emmanuel. Budhia, it can reduce risk without negatively impacting expected returns. Right. Yes, it does that. Can reduce risk without negatively impacting on this, right? It's interesting. What else do we see here? And the other question I'm asking here is, what are the major challenges of diversification? What are the major challenges of diversification? Major challenges of diversification. Regardless of the drawbacks in diversification, it's very important for companies to diversify in the current economy because of uncertainty. Examples, during this pandemic, if we diversify, we are able to cap risks. What are the major challenges? Thank you very much, stand up. Jacqueline Malo, thank you. The position should be guided by companies with customers' preferences, boost market share. Yes. Reduce risk without negative impact. Yes. Thank you for those comments. But what are the major challenges of diversification? And as you answer that, ladies and gentlemen, do you see, before we look at the challenges, I expected people to talk about COVID-19. In light of COVID-19, can you see that diversification is relevant and playing a key role? In light of COVID-19, can you see really the need for diversification? The challenge is costly since new resources are needed. Yes, thank you, Atiana Gonga. The question is, what about COVID-19 and diversification? Could it be the answer? Because companies are going under, businesses are going under, those expecting, for example, to import goods from China, the same market, traditional market. Can we see that we could have done differently? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you. Speak to the mic, into the mic. Pick your mic and let me know. Yes, we discuss. We're talking about diversification. And the question I posed was the place of diversification. And now the next one is challenges. One of the main challenges is costly. Working with small amount of capital, yes. Is that a challenge? Yes. You can see Mutinia Marianne. Working with small amount of capital, yes, is a drawback, right? Yeah, time consuming when it comes to responding to market changes. Okay, time consuming the conglomerate. But if companies are running as independent, semi-autonomous companies, you know, if you are in the food industry, another one is in production of farming out there products, another one is real estate, all is put together conglomerate. Do you see this as an answer to some of the challenges? You know, the one needs to challenges I can see coming here, time consuming when it comes to responding to the market changes. You know, to diversify, one need to possess certain expertise which one has not have. Yes, you need to hire. It means a whole outfit. If you are, let's say, in manufacturing foodstuffs and you want to go into farming, you need a whole set of skills. You need people who can understand the farming you want to do very well. If you don't, then you may not go far. Lack of resource, qualified experts to enhance diversification. Yes, poor market power to support diversification. Right? Market issues. Chinese companies only engage in diversification just for profit making. That's moralizing to other entrepreneurs. Yes. Lack of resources and qualified expert. Poor market power. Jacqueline, working with a small amount of capital. When you are starting an investor, you may not have a large amount of investment capital. As our industry, company size, diversify outside the stock. Yeah. Main challenge of diversification is cost because we need new resources, technologies, and human resources. Yeah. Poor management makes the whole process of diversification useless. Not useless, it can't be useless. There will always be something about diversification, you know. You know, diversification here, especially conglomerate, opens doors, opportunities. If you are thinking like an entrepreneur, you see diversification as opening opportunities for everybody else, creating synergy. Yeah, Tantano, yeah, let's see Tantanos. Working with a small amount of capital. Good Lillian, yes, I want to read about here about you guys. You are not some of not said anything. Listen only. That's Eunice. Okay. Risk of incompatible businesses. That's true. Yeah, risk of incompatible. Yeah, you can talk about that. Yeah, who told you they'll be compatible? They may not necessarily be compatible, but they're running. Okay. It calls for intensive market research, exactly, which is a process that requires a team, well-versed, and so on. Well, you can also hire people to do it for you and give you information. Okay. Diversification relates to, okay, somebody has diversification relating to this pandemic is good since some products are very good. Angonga, exactly. Diversification is good. You can now see manufacturing of PPEs, masks, and others. These are things that you see. And diversification means if transport is not working, real estate is hobbling, just struggling by, and if you are in farming, you can see that food people must eat. Even if the price comes down, they will still be paying for it. It's not for free. So you see, if you diversify in the various sectors of the economy, then you have a bigger basket. It can shrink, but cannot dry up. But if it is one set of business, then when it shrinks, and you're done. But here, you have a bigger basket with different products and so on and so forth. It's like a buffet. I'm sure it's lunch time. I don't want to make you celebrate, you guys. A buffet. Rather than sitting there and be served only the rice and whatever. So this one meal, you can go to the buffet and take anything you need there. Little of this, little of that. And so conglomerate really, in brief, means that, but diversification means you have a variety of activities or income streams. And one thing that many businesses want to do is to hedge against uncertainties, times of uncertainties. And diversification is one of those strategies, because what they will do is they can look at different products. You remember our first, the picture for the day, we gave you a pie divided into sectors. There were yellow, green, blue. There was blue, light blue, green. There was green, there was yellow, orange, and there was red and white. Those would represent different products. And those different products, if you look at them, you know, they give you a better market, a better grip on the market. And when one is not doing very well, you remember the red one was very small, for those of you who saw it. And risk in business. You remember the one at the beginning. Let me take you back there. Let's see. It takes us back there very quickly. Oh, it's still very far, but I'll take you there as a summary as we finish this course, as we come to a close of this course, that you know, what's happening here is 87632, 6321. Yeah, here we are. I'm finishing the picture of the day. This is sticking to your guns. Yes, advantages, sticking to your guns, one of them. Risk and consistencies, diversification. Now, when you look at this pie, this is the business. Name it. But it has different sectors. The blue sector, the yellow sector, the green sector, the white sector, and the red sector. I don't know why red became small in this case. Whoever was designing this. Red sector is small. So you may be having losses. These are losses. This is a bigger profit from this company or that business or that business. Bigger profit. The largest is this one actually. Followed by yellow. The yellow is about 90%, a quarter. And this one here, which is a third or something like that. So what we're saying is that diversification brings this picture together and dissects it into various sectors in terms of businesses, in terms of products, in terms of regions, whereby you can reap. One region might be rich in terms of the economy in that region, better than the other one, which is red, that is small here, and so forth. With those, ladies and gentlemen, I want to pause there for now and say I want to thank you for being attentive from the beginning, and I want to see what are your comments about the class. Comment on the class. Comment on this class. This class so far. Comment on this class so far. May I get your quick feedback, please? I was not audible enough. There are questions, please comment on this class as we come to the end of our topic 9. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question. Sam Logosi, yes? Can you ask that question? And I may come back to it later because of time. Okay, I have a question. It's fine. Jacqueline, yes? Rostondop?
I have an issue that most of my students have raised.
Yes.
They keep on calling and asking those who missed the cut, when will they do their cut?
Tonight. The cut is tonight from 5 to 6. From 5 to 6, I think. The cut is tonight.
5 to 6.
Yeah, 5 to 6. When you go there, you open it. And once you open it, you do it and so on. So we are doing that cut tonight, eh?
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, only that. That was the only issue.
So, asante, and then we'll also be posting something very soon about your major half of the semester assignment, which we'll be sending you. Otherwise, thank you. I wish you well. And notes, of course, will be posted today. They have not been posted, but they'll be coming. Quite a number of things going on. So with that, I want to wish you the best in your classes. Keep safe. Continue to follow the protocols. Continue to communicate. Continue to engage. Continue to learn. God bless you abundantly.